is a spectrum disorder, and from a behavior perspective, we would have kids at the lower end of the spectrum displaying very aggressive behaviors which are difficult to manage, and at the higher end of the spectrum you would have kids who have nuances of behavioral issues which come out in the form of inability to look at you when they speak with you, or focus on areas of their interest alone and not able to understand the social turn-taking of managing communication.
He behaved like normal kids, for usual routines, because since young he has been trained in this manner. It's just that he has occasionally has some meltdown when he get very tired. Sometimes the meltdown also includes like he wants something and yet we didn't know because he has a speech impairment. He is not able to communicate.
Some of the communication methods that has helped children with autism is that it's pictures, the use of pictures, which we call as also picture exchange communication system. When we provide this, they are able to flip through the file and are able to choose what they want to choose and bring it to us and share, tell us what exactly they want rather than us figuring out from their behaviors. The usual behaviors that we see in children with autism are usually things like flapping of hands, shutting of ears, sometimes a lot of jumping. These are some of the very common behaviors that we see in children with autism. So when these things happen, it is best, if we do not know what exactly to do for the child, to not stare at them. It is not that they're misbehaving, it is more of they're trying to regulate themselves and to be able to function in that environment, a very demanding environment for them.
When the noise gets a bit, there are more than one sound around, he might get distracted. And then he might, occasionally he might have a meltdown.
When we look at the sensory processing difficulties in autism, children with autism can be either hyposensitive or hypersensitive to the sensory information. So a child who is hypersensitive will avoid walking into spaces that are very bright, which comes out from that space of anxiety because they don't know how to cope with it. And kids on the other end who want to take in more information, who are hyposensitive, which means they want more of it, you would see them seeking more visual information. From an auditory perspective, it is the same. There are kids who are not able to cope with certain sounds, certain frequencies, and they may avoid it. And then again, you have kids who are seeking auditory information, and you would find them bringing little wrappers, candy wrappers close to their ears and making those little sounds to amplify them and to take that in. From a hearing perspective and from an auditory perspective, when children have difficulties in coping with sounds and different frequencies, headphones like this can be of use, when they wear them, it cuts out the sound signals. From a visual perspective, sometimes colored glasses also help them cope with the information around them. The colored glasses sometimes can help kids focus better on the signal that is presented to them.
So when you see a child or a young adult holding on to things, it's not something to be amused about, but rather it is a huge indication to us that this person has some form of disability and he's coping with it using certain objects. They might be popping in and popping out. Doing something repetitively helps them stay calm and engaged with the environment. Yeah. Sometimes you might see things like they're using visually stimulating things like these glow sticks, as well as a homemade one, which is this one, a bottle with some water in it.
So over and above the sensory devices, environmental modifications like providing structured environments can help children with autism cope better. And that provides predictability. So as I was saying earlier, anxiety is one of the issues in autism, and when there is increased anxiety, children tend to become very dependent on adults to go through their lives. So we want to remove the anxiety, we want to provide predictability so that they can become independent.
Actually, autism is not a disease. There's no cure for this kind of condition. Some adults might think that the kids might be considered as mentally retarded, but that actually is not the case.
If a parent thinks my child is not thriving well, it is always advisable to approach a doctor in the polyclinic or in the hospital to check about his development. So once the development is checked and there are suspicions, there are reasons to believe that the child needs to go for an intervention, the intervention matters a lot. So early intervention is something that we need to start as soon as possible for children who show some developmental delays.